Assalamu alaikum. Today we will talk about the anatomy of a very interesting organ in our body, which is the heart. Okay, the first thing you have to know that the heart is pyramidal in shape. It's pyramidal in shape and it's placed on its apex. Okay, now the heart is surrounded by a fibroserous sac, which is called the pericardium, which differentiated into an outer fibrous layer called the fibrous pericardium and inner serous sac called the serous pericardium. And as I told you, the heart is pyramidal in shape and it's placed on its apex. Okay, now this is the apex of the heart and this is the base of the heart, and it has a sternocostal surface, which is the anterior surface, and it has a diaphragmatic surface, which is the inferior surface. Also, the heart is consist of four chambers, two atria, the right atria and the left atria, and two ventricles, the right ventricle and the left ventricle, and are separated by. Now, this is the sternocostal surface of the heart. So it's divided by the coronary groove into the atria and the ventricular part. The atrial part mainly consists of the right atrium. The ventricular part consists of the right 2/3 right ventricle and the left 1/3 of the left ventricle. This is the sternocostal surface. Okay. Now the coronary groove contains the right coronary artery. Also, there is a groove between the two ventricles called the interventricular groove, which contains the anterior interventricular artery, which is this one with the red. Also, it contains the great cardiac vein, this one with the blue. Okay, now let's talk about the right atrium. The right atrium have this thing is called the right auricle. And when we look inside the right atrium, we will see the wall of the right atrium. It has rough and tuberculated bundles of muscle fibers. It's called the musculi pectinati. Okay, this is the inside of the right atrium. It has an oval depression called the fossa ovalis, and the margins of the depression are called annulus ovalis. Okay, now the blood is going to leave the right atrium to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve, and it's called tricuspid valve because it has three cusps. This is the first one, this is the second, and this is the third. Okay, now the deoxygenated blood reaches the right atrium through the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, and then gets through the tricuspid valve to the right ventricle. Okay, now let's start talking about the right ventricle. Okay, when we're looking inside the wall of the right ventricle, we will see the trabeculae carinae, which are the projections of the wall. So the right ventricle communicates with the right atrium through the tricuspid valve, or we can say the right atrioventricular orifice. This is the orifice and this is the tricuspid valve. It's located inside it. And we can say also the pulmonary trunk is connected to the right ventricle through the pulmonary orifice. The cavity that connects the right ventricle to the pulmonary trunk, it becomes funnel shaped and it's called the infundibulum. This is the infundibulum. The wall of the infundibulum is smooth and contains no trabeculae. Okay, when we're looking inside the right ventricle, we will see a large projections coming from the wall. They are called the papillary muscles. The papillary muscles are connected to the cardiotempani through the cardiotendini. These are the cardiotendini. They are connecting the papillary muscles of the wall to the tricuspid valve. Okay, now let's talk about the left part of the heart, which consists of the left atrium and the left ventricle. The left atrium communicates with the left ventricle through the left atrioventricular orifice. They are connected through this orifice, which contains the bicuspid valve, and it's connected to the aorta through the aortic orifice. Also, the left atrium contains the left auricle. This is the left auricle, and it receives the oxygenated blood coming from the lungs through the pulmonary veins. It has 4 pulmonary veins entering to the left atrium and carrying the oxygenated blood. They send the oxygenated blood from the left atrium to the left ventricle through the bicuspid valve, or it's called also the mitral valve. Now, when we look to the inside of the left ventricle, we will see the trabeculae carinae on the wall, and we will see the large projections. They are called the papillary muscles, and they are connected to the bicuspid valve through the chordae tympani. Okay, now the oxygenated blood will leave the left ventricle to the ascending aorta through the aortic orifice. Now the blood will move from the ascending aorta to the arch of the aorta, and there is 3 branches in the arch of the aorta. This is the brachiocephalic trunk, and this is the left common carotid, and this is the left subclavian artery, and this is the end of the aortic arch. This is the end of the aortic arch, and this is the beginning of the descending aorta. Assalamu